bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Today's America, Millennium News 24/7. Round the world, also United States of America. Today we have our guest, climate activist George Ortega. We're going to talking about today politics, business, and pandemic and environment, also climate. George, please introduce yourself, our network.
Yes, I've been working to fight climate change for decades. My basic work is on human happiness, trying to create a happier, better world for everyone. And I've been doing this since '84.
Very nice. Our politics making us sick. We think Biden administration not going to do any kind of horrible act. But these days, Biden administration send arms ammunition Saudi to kill Yemeni. Now they sending all arm ammunition and so many air force, navy and general force in NATO's country, Eastern Europe, fight with Russia. This is good things for our country, George?
Well, I haven't looked into the details of the various kinds of transactions that you're referring to, but I understand. I know that the problem, the fundamental problem, is that Biden is not doing the will of the people, the American people, all the world. He's got a responsibility not just to the people of this country, but the people of the entire world. So my fear is what you just mentioned is Biden basically doing things that the rich want him to do. When we talk about politics, we've got to constantly stress the fundamental fact that it's the money, the people with money and power of the press and all that are behind Trump, behind our politics.
Democrat, when he vote for him, he committed. He not going to be send any kind of arms deal with Saudi Arabia. He's committed with American people. But 1 year, he don't do it. After 1 year, making happy to Saudi, they are upset with Biden administration, making happy and send them lot of arms, ammunition and bomb to destroy Yemen. This is good things.
Biden, I mean, he's a criminal. He's had over a year to explain to the American people, Trump's supporters, that the 2020 election was not stolen. They fervently believe that. And that's why they continue to back Trump. If Biden was a good person, he would have a campaign, a public education campaign, where people would no longer believe those lies. But no, he's part of the problem. He's doing the bidding of the rich financiers that finance the Democratic Party.
You know, Russia, they need their own security. Poland showing, American missile everywhere is in Poland, not in Ukraine, Poland. They request Obama administration take out these things, move these things. Obama committed with that time Russian president, not Putin, another one. I forget the name. He committed with the president. He gonna move after the Obama election, second term. But Obama is not taking care of his word. That's why probably Russia, they needed their own security. And Ukraine and Georgia, if they're going to be on NATO, they're going to put more missile, more arms ammunition on the border side. That's why Russia, they request NATO and America, please do not put them on NATO's country. This is simple thing, NATO can help them, but why they have to take these two countries, also NATO's, part of NATO's. So Russia, they need a commitment from European Union and America. So America thinking Russia going to fight with Ukraine. That's why they're sending all arms ammunition over $60 billion. So this is our taxpayer money, American people taxpayer money. I know we have to see the world, we have to see the planet, we have to see the all human being, but we have to see our own people too. What do you think?
Yeah, well, when we think about what this threat of war in the Ukraine and what's happening in Poland is about, it's basically, and like the Russian people are good people, Putin is not a good person. So it's basically Putin trying to protect Trump. Putin is trying to distract the world from paying attention to the fact that Trump tried to overthrow our government, and we absolutely need to and will imprison him. So basically, when we talk about the Ukraine, the broken promises of Obama, broken promises of Biden, we have to go to where the source is. It's the rich who control them. The rich who again, they don't care about people. They're starting this war. They're trying to start this war in the Ukraine as a distraction. We need to really shift from these details that are important. We have to go through them. We have to keep in mind, why is this happening? Because the rich want it to happen.
Other simple thing. And Afghanistan has over $10 billion in American, our Reserve Bank. They, what is they called, Senate and Congress, they approved to, release their money. But Biden administration deduct 3.7 billion to 9/11, who affected 9/11 family, and rest of the money he released. But my question is, we send over billions of dollars arms to another country, over $60 billion, and Afghan people is hunger, dying for food, dying for clothes, dying for education, but we take their money. This is worth it?
And the United States and Europe has been doing this for decades, not just with Afghanistan, but with the entirety of sub-Saharan Africa. these poor, very poor countries could have been lifted from poverty decades ago, but the rich are so callous, so selfish, so greedy that they've been ignoring this. They just care about their houses, their vacations. They do not care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anyone. So yes, in the past, the Democratic administration, the Republican administrations have treated poor countries like Afghanistan and poor countries throughout the world horribly, to the point that they rebel, and that's the explanation for 9/11. Really, they've gotten fed up. So basically, again, when it's international affairs, the plight of these poor countries like Afghanistan, we have to go to the root of that problem, and that's the rich are not allowing our politicians to do the right thing.
Yeah, do you remember the George W. Bush, Kenya and Nigeria? They invite him to come Africa, see the African continental. He refused to go African continental. Reason? He openly say, this is the worst, country in the world, those country, and I don't like to go in Africa. African continental people is not looking good. Do you remember that? 2006.
That's classic George W. Bush. He just didn't care. And so, let's shift from the problem for a moment to what the immediate solution is, and that's we need to shift the balance of power in the entire world, especially in the United States.
A little bit on the politics. China take over whole Africa now. Also, Russia take some part. Used to be a Mali base of France. France controls so many countries in African continental. Right now, Mali have a martial law, army government, not democratic government. So army government, throw out all France troops to Mali. This is shameless in the their colonies. They used to say they are colony in Mali. Now they are out. Bad way. Russia and China and Malian government, they throw them out. So is embarrassing for NATO, embarrassing for France, and embarrassing for European Union. They are colonized the whole world. What do you think these days, 21st century, still is happening?
Yeah, well, it's the same. You have people that have much more money than they need, much more money than any person should decently have. They don't care. And so, whether we're talking about the path or the present injustices by the rich people, the rich countries against the poor, we are in an opportunity now in our world. Basically, with January 6th, the rich overreached. By funding the person, by working with Trump to attempt to overthrow our government, they have created a scenario where now we make them pay the price. And what we will do is we're going to take on not just the Republican Party, we're going to take on their megaphones, Fox News, the New York Times, the Washington Post, who claim to be liberal, claim to be moderate, but are really in the hands of these rich. So, this is a unique opportunity. Basically, we have to understand that the first step, we prosecute Trump, we put him in jail, in prison for the rest of his life. Then we prosecute all the Republicans who are continuing to support him, bring down that party, and then reform the Democratic Party, who really are not any better. But we need to make the Democrats do the right thing about Trump, then we will make the Democrats do the right thing about everything else.
You are right. Other things happening in New York State Attorney General investigating Trump Corporation. Trump Corporation did, when they sell the property, they do the value up. When they filing the tax, they put value is low. That's why Attorney General and New York Supreme Court order to Trump to, under oath. They have to go to the court. Trump, Ivanka Trump, also Trump Jr., one of the president in America. They have to go under oath in the court. Do you think it's good things for American business?
Yeah, that entire party is going to prison. Basically they colluded, they conspired, they were in on, they planned January 6th, they planned, these kinds of like New York State unfair business practices that they're now being prosecuted for. But that's just the beginning. We're not just stopping at Trump and his daughter and his sons. You don't want to exclude Eric. They're all in on it, and Giuliani and the rest of them. We need to go from there to then, just making the American people aware that they are the problem. That basically that between now and November, Trump and his conspirators have created a situation where the Democrats, if they want history to see them as even more evil than Trump, they will do nothing. If they're smart, if they know what's good for them, they will prosecute Trump and Ivanka and Don Jr. and Eric and all of them, so that everybody fully understands the danger, not just that they represent, but the Republican Party represents, and the rich people especially who finance them. So yes, these are like the details. New York State, what they tried to do in other states to make, to basically overthrow the election returns. These are examples of, and there's many of them, but you want to know something more? We impeached Trump in 2021, the second impeachment. We have more than enough evidence already to put him behind bars for the rest of his life. Now, the test is like, by the summer, by July, we need to see strong measures against Trump and his conspirators by the Democratic Party, by the Justice Department. If we see that, we're on the right track. If we don't, then we understand that the Democrats are much more evil.
I'm going to bring another topic. If you remember who owned the Empire State and our MetLife Plaza, so many real estate in New York City and other. His name is Hemsley. Hemsley, same way, they do the pricing and they are corrupt. They don't like to pay the tax. What is the Internal Revenue did? They arrest for him lifelong. He die on the jail. His wife die on the jail. And this is the way probably Internal Revenue, Attorney General Office, they're gonna do with Trump. Do you think these things?
We have no choice but to put Trump in prison for the rest of his life, because the precedent that would be set if we fail to do that is unacceptable. We would be losing our democracy. So in a sense, we're talking about a lot of problems, and yes, you have to appreciate them, and they're throughout the world, but because Trump and the Republican Party and the rich overreached so fatally on January 6th, this is the beginning of a new world order. The Democrats have to prosecute him strongly. They have to put him in prison. Then they have to go against and undermine and disempower the Republican Party that supports him. Once that's done, we have the framework. Starting in 2023, when the Democrats have many more senators, many more House members in Congress, then we put the Democratic Party under the fire. Either you're for the American people, for the people of the world, or you're for the rich, and we're no longer going to tolerate them being for the rich.
You are right, brother. Please stay with us. Viewer, we are going to short break. We are coming soon.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Viewers, we are back again. Today's America. Millennium News 24/7. Our United States, also worldwide, whole planet, pandemic issue. Some country, still people dying, hundreds of people dying. America, every single day, thousands of people dying. But some state try to take off Biden administration order like vaccine and max. If they are making easy for everything, so they don't respect the CDC, FDA and Supreme Court, also White House. State governors, city mayor, they are local, but they have to respect the federal government. If they do make easy for everything, where gonna be our life, Mr. George?
You will remember the months and months that Trump was denying the existence of the coronavirus. He was saying it was a hoax. Those months were precious time lost. We could have been contained. Remember that the epicenter of this pandemic was New York City. Remember that. We could have contained it, but the rich who controlled Trump, who controlled the newspapers, who controlled our politics, didn't care. They were afraid that they would lose money if the people had to distance and vaccine and all. That was their fear. So that's why we're where we are now. But I want to shift from just blaming the politicians and the and the rich. We have to take responsibility, all of us, because one thing that we should know, but our media doesn't tell us, is that these pandemics originate as epidemics, infectious disease outbreaks in factory farms all over the world. Why? Because we, the people of the world, don't care about the animals. We don't care about these billions and billions of animals that we essentially torture each year in our factory farms to have cheaper meat. So basically, what controls everything? God controls everything. God is who controls everything. And so basically, it's not just about reforming the Republicans and the Democrats and the rich, getting money out of politics. We have to reform ourselves. We have to become better people, so we refuse to go along with the evil. But that's just part of it. We have to bring down the world order that hasn't informed us about that cruelty in the factory farms, that hasn't been asking us to stop eating so much meat, to treat animals more kindly. So yes, this pandemic was initially started by the rich, by Trump, because they don't care. They prefer to kill people than to lose money. So that's how it started. But we have to also remember that it's really a global problem. We have to defeat them. We have to defeat them to, as people of the world, regain our conscience.
Our New York State, also New York City, thousands of senior citizens died, and over 100,000 people die from New York City, New York State. But their counting is wrong. That time they don't count the senior citizen. So many people die on the house, on the street. They don't count it. They just count in the hospital. So, so many media right now saying over 100,000 people die in New York State. And people blaming right now our ex-governor, Governor Andrew Cuomo. But that time we see his, televised every day press conference, what's going on in New York. But inside, if he did this kind of things, he going to be have some kind of judgment, or he have to go jail or anything? George?
Yeah, well, the image he presented, Cuomo presented, was that he was doing everything he could about the pandemic. You have to doubt that, because he was the Democratic governor for how many years, and how many years did he side with the Republican Party? He didn't allow the strong Democratic legislature to do what they needed to do for the people. So I don't trust that Cuomo did all that he could have done, that he should have done. But it's much beyond Cuomo. It's really Newark. This pandemic, it plays out in politics, but we're getting to a point where we're understanding, we have all these problems. They have one root cause. The people with money, with a lot of money, are using their money to corrupt, to bribe our politicians. Our world has a unique opportunity. They overreached fatally on January 6th. And because of that, we're going to dismantle this worldwide apparatus where the rich basically do whatever they want, regardless of how many people die, regardless of the fate of the planet because of climate change. We need to have a new world order where the rich no longer call the shots.
In America, we have everything. We have a vaccine, we have a pharmaceutical company, and we have a mask, gown, everything. But our people, our general people, against the mask, against the vaccine, those people attack more. If our government make easy everything, if is another barrier coming, what's going to be happen? If they do not give the vaccination, over 80 million people still they don't do the vaccination. They are dying. They are getting sick. From them, we are getting sick too. So, hopefully, you know that Canada, Quebec province, premier or governor, he ordered, if someone do not use the vaccine, if anyone die, they are responsible and all payment they have to pay. So this kind of rule is good for, in Canada. But our country, I don't know. Our governors, mayors, they are just make easy for everything. We are not use it. If we use it, still hospital fighting for this disease every single day. They cannot see the general patient. So many people have a heart problem, liver problem, kidney problem. They cannot go to the hospital still right now. So our management, CDC, এবং also FDA, healthcare system, they have to be strong. What do you think?
Yes, there's so much more we should have been doing. For example, another reason this pandemic got out of hand was that the newspapers, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Daily News, Fox News, they were not properly educating the people about the need for the vaccines, the need for distancing, the need for masks. Some of them, like Fox News, were denying the pandemic completely. We have to hold these news organizations responsible. And we also have to hold certainly Trump and the Republican Party responsible, because it was their doing. They created this lie that it's not a vaccine. And they did the same thing. So what I'm trying to say, Noor, is like, yes, these people in Canada, these anti-vaxxers are, doing something wrong. But why are they doing what they're doing that is wrong? Is because they're believing the lies of, again, the rich. Basically the rich didn't want to lose money, from the pandemic, so that they denied it. They promoted this lie. The other example is the January 6th insurrection. Trump supporters genuinely believed that the election was stolen. The Democrats, see, even now, over a year after it happened, there is no public education campaign about that. That's evil. That's just evil. The Democrats pretend to be good, but really they are both evil, because they're both working for the rich and not for what's right and for the people of the world.
We are talking leaders, Republican and Democrat. But Republican, all senator, Congress, mayor, and governors, they use the vaccine, But President Donald Trump also used the vaccine and booster. And he urged the people, Republican, use the vaccine. But people is not here, people is laughing. I don't want to blame everything Trump, but Trump time he make this vaccination. He did some good job, but still his follower, they don't want to use the vaccine. Their leader, they use the vaccine. So who we want to blame?
Yeah, and again, Trump is going to prison for January 6th. But in terms of his handling of the pandemic, yes, he did some good things. We had a vaccine in 1 year instead of 4. He was smart enough to allow that to happen. He didn't prevent that. But it's not Trump who is the problem. Why didn't he tell people that the pandemic was as serious as it became? Because he didn't want to upset his financiers, the rich people who financed his campaign, the campaign of Republicans. So again, it's another instance where Trump did some good. He should have done a lot more good, and the reason he didn't was because the rich wouldn't allow him to.
That's true. Also, our president also, he have some issue. He have to control himself. He have to get into the Republican Party, leaders and general public. He have to urge the people, we are the people of America. We are making the law and we are surviving this land. We have to be together. January 6th, what is happened, they have to get punishment. But I'm talking the pandemic. If pandemic dying so many people from without vaccine, without masks, those people is dying lots. But still, Donald Trump, also Joe Biden, they have to urge the people to use the vaccine. And if not, we are going to be die. Our people going to be die. And we are talking about the politics. We are talking about the blaming the election things. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. People's life is worth it. What do you think?
Well, if Biden was a truly good person, he would sign an executive order just mandating that every state, mandated that their citizens did the right thing. He's not that good of a person, so we have to be realistic about this. Right now, before November's elections, the Democrats don't have enough power to do what needs to be done. We can't count on the Republicans; they're lost. But so Biden's primary job between now and November is to win enough Senate seats, 10, 15, to win enough Democratic House seats so that the Republicans cannot filibuster. So, and if they attempt to filibuster, we'll just change the rules. So basically, this election in November is the turning point, and Biden needs to be focused completely on that. Once the American people understand, what Trump did trying to overthrow our government, and how the Republican Party and how the rich were supporting that, we will vote them out of power. Republicans are only about 30% of the electorate. That's 70% of independents and Democrats who together we can end the Republican Party this November. And then starting in January 2023, Biden and the Democratic Party and our leaders can begin to do what they should have been doing this entire year, but the Republicans didn't let them. And then after this election, they will have no excuse. And it's our responsibility as citizens to hold them to the fire, to make sure that once the Republicans are no longer a threat to this country and to the world, that the Democrats are reformed, so they're no longer in the hands of the rich who don't care about this world.
You bring the senators, Congress, White House. Biden, he try himself, but his some 40 member, congressman, also senator, they didn't do the job. He should show the finger, shouting those senators, those congressmen, those congresswomen, why they are not on the platform. He don't show the finger like ex-president Donald Trump. If some Republicans say something, he show the finger and he shouted. Then they are off. They do the job. They're thinking, oh, this guy is crazy. He going to be after us. But Biden is not doing expedite way, show the finger, Joe Manchin, Christina Sinema, Ocasio, some other congressmen and women. And that's why probably these things happen. He have to be shouted. He have to have a guards. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think that Biden has to tell, especially Manchin and Sinema, that come January 23, if they don't do what we need them to do between now and then, when we no longer need them, they will have no place in the Democratic Party. It's not just them, it's whoever is refusing, because they're listening to their money, to do what Biden and the Democratic Party and our world needs them to do. So you're right, they have to be held personally accountable.
He have to show the people, this guy, this person is not doing the job for you guys, on the American people. Also, his voter, we don't need them. He have to show the finger. He don't show that. He's too easy with them. He's soft with them. He called them White House so many times. You know that. But they are not doing the job. Why he is calling for White House? Why he's talking with them? He have to put the hard finger. Show them with American people. This is the person you guys vote for. He is not your senator. He is not working for you. He is working for American lobbyist, financer, banker, some other organization. He is not for you. This is the way probably they're going to vote. Otherwise, probably not. My idea is wrong. I don't know. What do you think?
No, you're exactly right. Biden is pretending to be a good person. If he was a good person, we'd be hearing from him every day how Manchin and Sinema basically are listening to the money, how we can't do what we need to do about the pandemic, about the economy, about whatever, because these politicians in the Democratic and Republican Party are basically doing the will of the rich. So to the extent that Biden is silent, remains silent on that, he's just as evil as the rest of them.
Viewers, we are going to short break again. Please stay with us.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Viewers, we are back again. Today's America and Millennium News 24/7. Now we are on environment and climate. Everywhere in the world, whole planet getting warm. Couple of days ago in Brazil, hundreds of people died from mountain. Hundreds of houses destroyed. Their president enjoying Russia and Hungary. So many countries in the world destroying by flood, hurricane, and fire, also lava. So we are, as a human being, God-gifted human being, we have to take care this planet and this environmental issue. If we are not doing our job, whole world gonna be destroyed. We are committed with Glasgow conference. Every country gonna pay their share, but still no country deposit any penny. We are just talking point. So when is gonna be working, we are going to be work, and our government going to be work for the environment and climate. What you think, Mr. George?
Well, Noor, the reason we're not doing what we should be doing about climate change is because the rich people who control this world, control our politicians, will not let us. Now, they have made a huge mistake. They think that as our American middle class over this next decade, the next 2 decades, dwindles because of the effects of climate change, they think their sons and their daughters, their grandchildren, are going to somehow escape this. No, they're going to be informed. They're going to understand that because our country has kept poor people throughout the world poor, for our benefit, and we've gotten away with that. But here in America, when you have a middle class that has come for decades to enjoy this middle class status and its benefits, when climate change begins to, and it's already doing that, begins to cause them pain, cause them suffering, then we're going to have the repeat of what happened in 1932 when the American people got fed up with the Republicans who created the Great Depression and voted them out of office. If you recall that election between 32 and 36, the Democrats won 40 Senate seats and a comparable number of House seats. And that's how FDR was able to pass the New Deal and everything. So we're going into a world where it may not happen in a year or two, but that's the direction we're headed. We're headed to where the people understand, no, we're not, if we're losing our lifestyle, if we're losing our benefits because of your actions, then your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren are going to pay the same price that everyone does.
We help the world for vaccination, masks, food, clothes, medicine, so many things in the world. We donate billions of dollars, poor countries. But this climate, we cannot donate any money. Our businessmen, our rich men, like what is the guy named Tesla or some, and another one, Microsoft owner, and Facebook, Bill Gates, Facebook owner, Mark Zuckerberg, and those people, and Amazon owner, they are thinking they're going to make transportation to go space, Mars. But they are not thinking environment and climate. Government going to be share their share, but they don't do it. So when our children, our grandchildren going to ask us, what we going to give the answer for that? Huh?
Yeah, and I believe I'm optimistic. I believe that we're going to imprison Trump for the rest of his life. I believe that the Republican Party is history, and I believe that we're going to make the Democrats do what we need to do. So I am optimistic about the future, but we have a war ahead of us. And you started with saying that we donate so many billions of dollars to poor countries. That is a big lie. In 1974, I believe, the United Nations had a Pearson Commission in Canada where the richest 20 countries in the world agreed to donate 0.7% of our national income, our GDP, every year to alleviating, to ending poverty. Since that time, only a few countries, Scandinavian countries, have ever fulfilled that pledge. Less than 1% of our income we have refused to give them. So that's, and the media, again, the media who are protecting the rich, because they would stand to lose money to the extent that we help these people, they are silent about that. They want us to believe that we donate so much to these poor countries when we don't donate even 1% of our income to help these people.
When you see the record and commerce department, state department, and you're going to find how many and how much money they donate. I don't know, they donate or they eat or what they do. They have a papers, document for the American people, law enforcement authority, everyone. Biden administration, we think he is liberal, and he's going to work for American people, also this planet. But I don't think so. His commitment going to be truth. We don't see any good sign his work. But do you have any advice for Mr. President, his administration?
I think Biden had better fear God, because God is behind the pandemic. It's a punishment for not just the rich and the political parties, for all of us, for not standing up to the rich, for not standing up to goodness, to fairness, to what should be done. So yes, Joe Biden should understand that God can punish us far more severely than we've experienced through this pandemic.
You are right. You are criticizing our ex-president. You can criticize, but he was a president. I respect the presidency and White House. If someone do some kind of crime, I do not respect them. But Donald Trump, one of the bad things he did in America, he take off all kind of rule, regulation from our environmental department. He opened for everything for American people, but he destroy our climate and environment. His administration. What Biden gonna do? What is the Biden administration job? And what Biden gonna be invest for American taxpayer money? Do you have any kind of advice or idea?
Yeah, well, first, Trump With all the evil he did, he has done the world a huge favor. Because before Trump, we were all under the delusion that, oh, it's the Republicans are the bad guys, the Democrats are the good guys. Now we understand more fully, no, it's the politicians, that's our point. It's really the rich who control them. So basically, because of Trump, we've gotten to the point where we're not going to lose our democracy. So we're going to force Biden to do what he needs to do. What I suggest to Biden, if he doesn't want to go down in history as a worse criminal, a worse president than Trump, he had better make sure that he imprisons Trump, that he holds the Republican Party completely responsible for January 6th.
One thing I've been few times in United Nations Assembly time, like August or September, the first year of our ex-president Donald Trump, he is coming United Nations. Over 200 countries leaders is there, and he is talking about the democracy and Democrat. Everyone is laughing like that, So Trump is talking the democracy and democratic way to run the country. Everyone is laughing. So what he did, he said, what's wrong, guys? Why are you guys laughing? No, we like your word. We like your speech. Anyway, President Trump, whatever he did for in the world, he knows and his administration knows. But his term, he destroyed Eastern Europe. He make Eastern Europe part of Russia. He did it, these things. You just saying few minutes ago, Russia involved everything with the Donald Trump. But Donald Trump administration mess Ukraine, Poland, Estonia, those countries, Hungary, Romania. But our Joe Biden administration try to control everything their own way, but they can't. Great Britain, one of the country pushing for war, pushing for fight, but our American taxpayer money gonna be lose. American children gonna be lost their life, not a Great Britain. Great Britain pushing us to go fight with Russia. This is good thing for Biden administration. They have a lot of advisor. Why they have to hear from Great Britain? George?
Yeah. I mean, we have to remember that Biden is not a good person. Biden is listening to the rich. And so, Putin and Trump created this problem. Again, it's a distraction from January 6th, but Biden should have been much more vocal about that through these months. Biden should have told the people exactly what's happening and why he has failed to do that. So now he's in a position where he's going to either, by diplomatic means, just end this threat of war, or he's going to kill a lot of people in the Ukraine and Russians and Americans because he didn't do what he needed to do beforehand. So, and this is the problem we have. It's not just Trump and the Republicans, it's the Democrats who lie to us, pretending to be good people and refusing to tell us what we need to know.
Climate issue, we need Russia. We need all Eastern European countries. We need China. We need India. But if we partner with Australia, they're not going to give us bread and butter. They're not going to give us bread and butter. If we, get partner with the Great Britain, they need a bread and butter from us. We don't need it, their monarchy and their advice. This is my theme. We have a lot of scientists. We have a lot of advisors. Every section, every sector. Why we have to hear other people, whatever other countries said. Environment and climate issue, we need a Russia. we need India, we need China. If government, their foreign relationship is not good, probably those people is not coming on track for climate. Do you have what do you think?
Yeah, and we have to remember and keep in mind that in Great Britain and Australia and throughout every country of the world, it's not like the rich just control the United States. The rich control all of those countries. So yes, as we're being diplomatic, as we're working diplomatically as a world, we have to work together as a world and against the rich in those countries also who are preventing us from doing what we need to do.
Our Fox network and what is the called Wall Street Journal, New York Post, and Britain, all media, Australian all media, owned by Murdoch. This is the guy, whatever his idea, his theme, his advisor theme, our mainstream media run by Australia, run by Britain, run by America. That's why we have to fight for their advice. We have to fight for other country. We have to lose our life. We have to invest our taxpayer money, billions of dollars. George?
The four most dangerous and harmful people in the world are Rupert Murdoch with his ownership and control of Fox News and the Wall Street Journal, Arthur Schultzberger, who owns and controls the New York Times, and Fred Ryan, who owns and controls the Washington Post. These three people don't allow the citizens of this country, the citizens of the world, to understand what's really going on. They lie to us. They are at the heart of this problem. When they control the information, they control not just what is said, but what isn't said. So basically, in terms of like fighting climate change, in terms of doing what we need to do, we need to go beyond reforming the political parties. We need to reform our entire media system so that three people who could care less about the people of this world in the future are no longer lying to us and deceiving us across the board.
Our all Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, everywhere you're going to see the plastic and plastic bottle. So many things. Now, some organization, they are cleaning. This is also destroying our river, our ocean, our, everything. So, every country, if they do their share, their country, they can clean, ocean gonna be clean. But we don't do that. This is one thing. Other thing, I just told you, if our government have to work with the climate, really, if they do, they need a partnership with China, they need a partnership with Russia, India, also rest of the world. Otherwise, climate, this subject is under the table. Nothing is going to be done. Do you have any advice, our foreign relationship, our country or climate scientist, specialist?
Biden doesn't talk enough about this. Biden, you're right. It's not just the United States and China that have to do our part. It's the entire world.
Exactly.
Yes, and so, but here's the thing. Here's what Biden and the rich don't realize yet. Remember the French Revolution, the people got fed up with the ruling elite class, they massacred them. Remember what happened in Russia and China, the same thing. People got fed up with these rich people just like doing whatever they want without any regard for the welfare and the lives of the rest of the people. So I would say that Biden should probably be informed and the rich should be informed that as climate change harms us, their children again and their grandchildren and great-grandchildren are not going to have any of the privileges they have now because we're not going to allow that. We're not going to kill them like they did in the French Revolution in Russia and China, but we will remove their privileges because of their parents' sins.
Our time almost end, George. Please, you going to say anything? This is your last word, our viewers. Issue
Yes.
In pandemic, and politics and climate. Please
Yeah,
go on.
and nor the takeaway message is I am optimistic, because the Democrats have no choice but to put Trump behind prison, behind bars. They will have to do that. We will make them do that. And then, again, it's a three-step process. We imprison Trump. We hold the Republicans responsible for continuing to side with them. Then we reform the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, especially telling people it's the rich who are at the heart of controlling the Democrats, Republicans in the world. I'm optimistic. I don't think the rich want the kind of world that they will inherit if they continue to prevent us from having the rule of law, from having our democracy, and from fighting climate change.
Thank you. Viewers, our time almost end. We are talking about today our American politics and pandemic, healthcare, also environment, climate. Our guest, George Ortega, he is the climate specialist. He angered with our ex-President Donald Trump, reason what he did, the pandemic, what he did for the January 6th in our capital city. We are mad. Every American is mad. Where is these people coming from? Our investigation department, they found these people coming from all way Greek, India, Russia, so many countries from Eastern Europe. That's why our FBI and National Security, they cannot find their information. But they found which flight they came from, where is their destination, where they go. Everything is clear. So our American people respect rule of law. But if we hire the people, bring the people from other country to destroy our structure, destroy our capital city, is not good. Whatever crime our ex-president did, he have to get punishment. This is our rule, American rule. If someone did any kind of crime, they have to get their punishment. That's all we know. Viewers, we are criticized. We are not against anybody else, any party or anybody else in the world. Please stay with our Millennium News 24/7 and Today's America. Viewers, we are in all iOS and Android device. Also, all smart TVs like Samsung, Sony, LG. Also, we are on Amazon TV, also Amazon Stick, Roku TV, Roku Stick, Apple TV. Also, we are on Radiant, IPTV, Jadu TV, and worldwide on the web we are on jagobd.com. Our website www.millenniumnews24.com, also www.millenniumtv24.com. Our email address info@millenniumtv24.com. Viewers, our colleague, friends, they working hard for you guys, everyone. News, views, talk show, and documentary, entertainment, so many things. Please watch Millennium News 24/7, and we respect our colleague and friends always their hard work. Viewers, please, whatever you are, please stay peace, love, and happiness. Goodbye and take care for today.